Here's the instructions how to do it.
Ain't gonna work. Now I'll call the meeting of the Carbon County Board of Commissioners to order. Please rise for a moment of silence, prayer, and the Pledge of Allegiance. Father in heaven, bless us as we gather today for this meeting. Guide our minds and hearts so that we will work for the good of our community and help all your people. Teach us to be generous in our outlook, courageous in the face of difficulty, and wise in our decisions. Father, we praise you. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of preparing accurate written minutes. Recordings are overwritten following approval of the minutes, eliminating all unofficial records of these proceedings. Your first item is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held April 11th, 2024.
Motion approved.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Are there any guests concerning county business at this time? Hearing none, at this time I'd like to call on Nancy Deminovich, if you would come up please, from our director at the archives, and explain a little bit what she does, and the people you don't hear about too much and have a tremendous workload.
Thank you, Commissioners, for having me. I appreciate it. In 1843, Carbon County was formed from parts of Monroe and Northampton counties. That is how I start my spiel to any genealogists that come in or call. Our archives was started in the late 1980s. Prior to this, the records were kept all over the courthouse, in diaper boxes, wine boxes, etc., from the basement to the attic. We were set up in the basement of the courthouse. We started with one full-time employee and then added a part-time employee. As we were running out of room, we were moved down the street to 44 Susquehanna, where we resided for about 17 years. In 2017, we moved across town to 15 West 4th Street, where we are rapidly filling our new space. Currently, we have 2 full-time employees and 3 part-time employees. Our archives is one of a handful within the state. We deal with every office in the county in some capacity, whether it is to store and film or store and shred. On a daily basis, we can get genealogy requests, lawyer requests, title searcher requests, and county office requests such as prothonotary, clerk of courts, the judges, veterans, and many others. With any request, we can research the file, retrieve and copy any specific paperwork. We can then scan and email said paperwork to the requesting party. In addition, we've had consultations with other counties like Pike when they were in the process of setting up their own archives. We are in contact with state archives at least once a month. We also interfile additional loose paperwork from different offices. This can take up to 5 to 10 hours per week. If we don't have something a genealogist is looking for, we do our best to direct them to where they might find it and to give them some more research options. In between requests, we prepare files, then we microfilm the files. The film is then sent out to be processed. After the microfilm is processed and returned, we then code to index and double check all paperwork against the film, checking for blurred or missed pages or any other issues during filming. Any issues, we will do a retake on those files. After all the files are checked, we can then shred with the office and or state's permission. From beginning to end, this process can take over a year for any of the longer project or larger projects. Every year, we can send 250 original rolls of microfilm to state archives for storage. The duplicate roll is cartridge, so it can be used in the reader printer. We are constantly moving or rearranging boxes to be prepared for the next year's worth of boxes coming from any of the offices or magistrates. We currently store maps from files, old books, files, boxes, any photographs from files that have been filmed, and any media format found within a file. We are very strict with tracking any papers, files, or boxes coming in or going out of archives. We are very conscientious about making sure 50 years or 100 years from now, anyone coming in to do research will be able to follow our indexing to track down their paperwork. It is extremely satisfying to be able to find that one file, that one page someone has been really searching for. thank you again for having me at your meeting to speak about the Archives Department.
Any questions by the news media real quick?
Nancy, how long have you been with the archives?
25 years.
25 years. And is the public able to,
Yes, the public's welcome to come in any day, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. Or they can call, they can email, and we can, handle their requests. But yeah, the public's welcome to come in.
okay, thank you very much.
I would
Regarding
just
your
like to
fund.
say, with my office, the course office, Nancy and her staff does an amazing job. We couldn't do our job without them doing their job, so thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
She maintains the files for how many different offices,
Yeah.
really? Clerk of courts, pathonetary commissioners, meeting minutes, court systems, a tremendous amount.
About every office within the county, yeah.
Sorry,
Sheriff,
really quick. Why do you think that your work and this work that your staff does is important to the county?
Well, really, I think they'd be lost without us. Sometimes it's really difficult trying to track down exactly what they're looking for, depending on what they're looking for. I just had a request today from a 1988 file, which in the grand scheme of things isn't that long ago, but to the current office holder, it's really long ago. So, yeah, it's depending on what they're looking for. Some people are looking for their divorce records, their marriage records, to maybe get Social Security or to get a real ID, or and some of these things happened quite some time ago. So and sometimes they don't even remember exactly what year it happened. So yeah, I think it's important for us to be able to find all this paperwork that they're looking for.
The counties and the courts are required to maintain certain records forever, historic records, other records in court cases and criminal cases and different events that have happened over the years. So it just keeps adding up, and like Nancy said, I haven't been downstairs at the archives lately to see how full it is, but we just brought everything back from Iron Mountain, where we were storing it at off-site because of the cost of storing it off-site. We have to keep backup of records should something happen. In the case of the courthouse previously, it burned down when, I'm not sure if that was before we moved the records out off-site, when we lost a courthouse to a fire many years ago. I'm not sure what year, but we have to have everything backed up. A lot of it is required or does go to the state archives as well, certain records. Any other questions? Rachel, Amy? Comment? Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Okay. Move on.
The next item is the report of executive sessions held.
There were none.
The department reports. Budget transfers for 2023 and 2024.
Motion approved.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
There are no supplemental appropriations. Expenditures, approval of check numbers 242859 through 242991 for expenditures to the general fund clearing account totaling $1,499,099.70.
Motion approved.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The treasurer's report.
Motion approved.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Okay, at this time, we'll recess the commissioners' meeting and go into salary board meeting, reconvene. Okay.
First item.
Okay, any guests concerning salary board business? Hearing none, we'll move on.
The report of executive sessions held.
Was one executive session held on April 8th, 2024 at 3 p.m.
The next item, Sheriff Ziegler.
Good morning. Motion to change the rate of one solicitor from $3,200 per annum to $4,000 per annum effective April 29th, 2024.
I'll second that.
Sheriff Ziegler.
Yes.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any further business for the salary board? Hearing none, meeting adjourned. This time, I'll reconvene the commissioners' meeting.
Next item is the personnel report for county departments.
Motion?
No, second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The acknowledgements for courts and row officers.
Motion?
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Correspondence was received as listed. Copies will be made available to the press upon request. Area Agency on Aging for approval and execution. The submission of the State Civil Service Commission form delegating signatory authority to the Director of Human Resources representing the county commissioners with regard to personnel matters and delegating authority to the administrator of the Area Agency on Aging for personnel transactions.
Motion approved and execute.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Correctional facility. For approval and execution, a quote received from Icon Systems Incorporated of Atlanta, Georgia, to purchase flush regulators for the RHU and MAX units at the correctional facility at a total cost of $12,559.28.
Motion approved and execute.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Quote, for approval and execution, a quote from Smulligan Glass Incorporated of Tamaqua, Pennsylvania, to replace the window glass in the female unit recreation yard located at the correctional facility at a total cost of $5,611 and also to authorize prepayment.
Motion approved and execute.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Emergency management for approval, state fiscal year 2024-2025 hazardous materials response fund budget for the grant performance period of July 1, 2024 through June 30th, 2025 in the amount of $7,002.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes, and I'd just like to point out, like all the other funding we get from various resources, that has been dwindling over the years, but we still have to provide the same level of service and training and education through that hazmat grant fund, required training for emergency responders to hazardous materials incident, and the response to the incidents as well, and using of the supplies, absorbents, booms, pads, etc. So,
Okay. Fiscal data processing for approval and execution. An agreement with Sirius Computer Solutions Incorporated of San Antonio, Texas, to replace the UPS battery pack in fiscal data processing department at a total cost of $685.91.
Motion approved and execute.
second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The solicitor's report?
Thank you. First, seeking a motion, excuse me, for approval and execution of a banner request by the Lehighton Downtown Initiative for their Wine on the River event, May 4th, 2024. The banner to be displayed April 19th to May 7 of 2024.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Next, this is for children and youth, seeking a motion for approval and execution of an agreement with employee number 6070 for the Child Welfare Education for Leadership Program, graduate level opportunity through the University of Pittsburgh. The term of the agreement is April 18, 2024, and extends for the duration of the employee's participation in the program. There is no cost to the county.
Motion approved and execute.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
And for Mock Chunk Lake Park, seeking a motion for approval and execution of a special activities agreement for the use of Mock Chunk Lake Park by the Lenape Nation for the Native American Festival Mock Chunk Powwow, September 7th to the 8th, 2024, pending the provision of a valid certificate of insurance.
Motion approved and execute.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
relating to 525 Iron Street, seeking a motion for approval and execution of change order number 5 to the contract with Master Mechanical Corporation of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, for back charge for the cost to return the regulators on the boiler to originally piped location for a credit in the amount of $2,150.17. The new contract total would be $505,066.87.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Also seeking a motion for approval and execution of change orders number 1 and 2 to the contract with Urban Electrical Contractors of Dunmore, Pennsylvania. Change order number 1 relates to a credit allowance for time and materials work and credit for disallowed overhead and profit on allowance charges per contract specs. The amount to be deducted from the allowance. Change order number 2 is a credit for unused allowance in the amount of $25,895.84 for a new contract total of $504,104.16.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Nothing further for the solicitor's report.
Any further business? No? Commissioners' reports, Mr. Honor?
Nothing today.
Mr. Notstein?
I have nothing today. Okay, meeting adjourned. This time we'll call the retirement board meeting to order, and I'll turn the meeting over to the acting controller. Evan. What an act.
No comments. Start with the approval of the minutes for March 21st, 2024.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Zelenka?
Yes.
Mr. Bender, I abstain, as I was not at the meeting. Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Are there any guests concerning retirement board business? Hearing none. Report of executive session, there were none. Ratify the warrant for March, checks number 41034 through 41045. Direct deposits number 702-6101 to 702-6522.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Zelenka?
Yes.
Mr. Bender, yes. Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Retirement activity for the month of March. We had 4 retirement refunds. There was 1 superannuation retirement. Disbursements for March, monthly benefit was $497,357.66. Option 4, $14,862.26. Refunds were $4,323.76 for a total disbursement of $516,543.68. The other thing you would note is on your warrant how this month we reimbursed the county for the 2023 retirement expenses. So that was in your warrant. Portfolio value as of 3/31/24, $89,739,751.64. And the updated as of April 12th, $87,960,677. So that was a roller coaster ride there. Correspondence, there were none. Solicitors report.
No report.
Investment managers, I think Sarah's coming in next month. New business, old business, further business. That is all.
None of the above. Meeting adjourned. Rachel.
Don't have anything.
Okay. Amy.
Morning, gentlemen. With regards to the loan number 4 for children in need, does that bring that up to $2 million now?
2 million.
2 million.
And, is it, again, because the state hasn't been reimbursing, or what is the reasoning for that right now?
Combination, I think, of
Yeah.
filing and losing our personnel and finance department, so, yeah, it's been a struggle. And I can say we have contracted with outside, for outside assistance to ensure that everything is done properly and in a timely fashion.
And when you say losing personnel, that you were losing personnel in?
Well, our fiscal and children and youth, we lost.
Yeah, the fiscal.
And like was it last meeting or meeting before we had that agreement, like for,
Yeah.
Sam
For
Inc. to
Sam,
like
yeah.
do our, and it's one of those things, we're losing people. And I said, how do you compete sometimes with like our wages? And if you look at, I mean, you look at what people are financially, you know, in the financial business, going to boroughs, townships, schools, they're getting twice as much money as we are here. And that's why we contracted with Sam Inc. to move forward with that, because when you have this much money running through, you can't operate with one or two people. I mean, it's like tough, and it's just hurting us. I mean, it's like, and it's not of any fault of, you know, who's leaving or who's here. It's just there's so much paperwork to be done. You can't do it with, you know, and I said, I think the people that left here, I'm glad they got a good job. You know, it's bad to lose them because they were good workers, but you can't compete with the money. And that's why we're with, in this agreement with Sam Inc., which is probably gonna be extended again, cause you just can't get people. And I said, it's like, yeah, I don't think it's any fault of our workers. I mean, it's just you can't keep up with the paperwork. And if you're behind on one payment, and I said, it's just weird how it works. They go off of the first period or the first quarter and the third quarter, and then they go from the second quarter to the fourth quarter. It's like how the reporting is. So if you miss one, all of a sudden you're behind 4 quarters. And that's where the trouble we were in, like last year, had to do the same thing, and we're doing the same thing this year again. It's like, it's tough.
And it's
So-
not a job you just step into without
No.
having knowledge of the system, of filing with the state, the deadlines, and the reporting requirements, et cetera. It's just not a typical auditing job, I'd say. So,
You know, and when you miss one line on the report, then I think they do this to you. They put you on the bottom of the pile, and then they continue, they'll get to you sooner or later. And that's one of the gripes I think I have with the state. If there's one little problem on that, why don't you solve it, get it done with? And it's across the whole state. It's happening across, you know, why don't you finish up a report that's there? Come back to us and say, hey, you missed this, let's put it in, you know, but, so, I don't know what else to tell you. It's,
That's all I have. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
okay, thank you. Have a good one.